Welcome everyone, CW Tech here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Precision 3260 Micro Workstation. Let's hop into it. Starting off, this machine is equipped with an Intel i9, 64GB DDR5, a 2TB SSD, and an NVIDIA T1000 GPU. So nothing too extreme on the GPU side, but a pretty hefty workstation nonetheless. For I/O, on the front we have one USB-C, one standard USB, an audio and microphone jack. On the back, depending on the equipped GPU option, this machine has 4 mini display ports here. Has Wi-Fi 6E with 4 USB and 3 onboard display ports for onboard graphics, and a standard power cable. Well, not a standard power cable, actually a massive, comically large power brick. This is a 240 watt Dell power brick, and yeah, it's bigger than the desktop here. So as you can tell, it's flush, it's peeking over just a little bit. So it's kind of comically large. Thickness wise, we're sitting at, about a third of this machine. So the power supply is very big, but at least it's slim. So, kind of compared to an iPhone 14 here, it's about 2 iPhones. So nothing absolutely insane, but it is kind of comical just the size of this machine, which is very similar to a Mac Studio, size-wise, that, the power brick's so big. So, but hey, you got to do what you got to do to fit everything in here and keep it in this small form factor. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into Windows and check how this thing runs. Alright, so let's go ahead and start some benchmarking here. Starting off, we're just going to, let's check the actual system here. We are on the newest version of Windows 11 here. 22H2 Windows 11 Pro. So that is a fresh install. And we have the newest drivers. Let's go ahead and go over the actual device manager here. So on here, we have a 2TB NVMe SSD. And then on the processors, it's a Core i9 12900, not the K series, just a 12900. And memory, we are sitting at, should be 64 gigabytes of memory. On this machine, yep, 64 gigs memory with a NVIDIA Quadro T1000, the 8GB model. Let's go ahead and do a fresh reboot to see the exact speed of a brand new install. We're just going to go ahead and restart right now. So let's go ahead and see how long this takes. Don't expect it to take too long, but it does. All the Windows updates are installed. All the Dell drivers are installed, newest BIOS is installed, so this thing is 100% fully updated with drivers, firmware, BIOS, and Windows updates. Only thing installed on here is Cinebench Passmark Performance test and HWMod, which is actually just a zip, so it's not even installed. So it took a minute to go through that reboot, but the actual from post to boot in here is fairly fast here. Go ahead and log in, and bam, we're already here. So immediately, let's go ahead and just launch HWMod and check the thermals, because I will tell you, in my little bit of testing, honestly testing, just installing drivers and everything, this thing gets toasty. So right now it looks okay, but we will see how warm this thing gets as we run some additional tests here. So I'm just going to leave the CPU and the GPU temperatures up here so we can kind of keep track of these. So just sitting here idling. It's been on for about 10 minutes before I started the video, so we're sitting right here about 40 degrees. It is 68 degrees Fahrenheit here at the house, so not warm, but not too cold, so very kind of average temperature. So let's go ahead and let's start some tests. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the min-max so we can kind of get a fresh run here. So let's go ahead and run Cinebench. This is going to be the first time this has ran it. Let's go ahead and run the multi-core here and see kind of what our timeline looks on this one. You can see we're starting to fly through this one here. But you can see we're instantly hitting thermal throttle, 100 degrees Celsius, just at the very beginning. I mean, so thermals on this machine are definitely definitely something to take into consideration with this build. Again, this is an i9, so I would be very wary of getting this machine equipped with an i9 and this small a chassis. The heatsink just simply cannot keep up. Unless it was running in a super cold environment, which, you know, probably still wouldn't make that much of a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and let this thing finish up here. You can see so far we're coming in about between 16,000 and 24,000. We will continue to let this run. And we're complete. So this machine ran the CP multi-core. It got 14,637 points. The problem, as you can see over here, is we thermal throttled pretty bad. We hit 100 degrees within just a few minutes running this test, which is not good. The problem, however, is we hit thermal throttle fairly quickly. Within just a few minutes, we hit 100 degrees Celsius, and it started to thermal the CPU down quite a bit. Whenever it was running through the test, you know, we were seeing 2400 megahertz across all cores, so definitely something to keep in mind on this machine. If you need those super fast burst speeds and you just got some money to burn, you know, this probably would be fine. But if you're doing any kind of, you know, heavy workload, this thing's going to hit thermal throttle pretty quick. So that's just one thing to keep in mind here. Let me move this over here. Yep, so here's our scores. We came in above the 988H, the i9, and then, of course, we came under the Threadripper here, the 1950X, and obviously quite a bit far below the new Threadripper. So that is that Cinebench. Let's go ahead and hop into Passmark and run some additional tests. I really like Passmark. It's a great kind of overall system test. I'm going to go ahead and launch Hardware Monitor again. I didn't mean to close it out. But this will let us get a refresh set of mins and maxes. Go ahead and minimize all these guys because we just care about two things. Don't really expect the GPU to get that hot. This isn't that crazy of a video card. Nothing too intense here. So let's go ahead and run the full test suite. This thing's going to collect its data here. I don't want to run OBS just to kind of throw off any potential results, so I'm just kind of recording the string with the camera here, just so I don't throw anything off. So let's go ahead and run the full Passmark here, and we will see how it goes. All right, so testing is complete. The overall score on this machine was 8,108. CPU mark is 38,347. 2D graphics 991. 3D graphics 7686. Memory mark 3343, and disk mark 5810. So let's go ahead and upload these results. So this can get over to Passmark to get some kind of better overall. So let's check out the CPU, 38,347. One thing I'd like to do is actually check what the overall average is for the CPU, because I have a feeling ours is going to be a little bit lower, but we'll see here. So we're just going to go to CPU benchmark.net, and this is Passmark's website to kind of show you all of the results here. So let's go ahead and do a high-end CPU chart and Control F, and we have what, a 12600K? 12900. So 12900 standard, not F. So standard 12900. Let's compare our results here and see kind of how we stack up. So our results are on the left here. Once I can get this screen over here to the left. So let's compare. So overall score is 34,782 is the average. Ours actually came in at 38,346, so actually a little bit higher than I thought it would. Keep in mind there's only 311 samples on here, so there's not a whole lot of uploads, but that kind of gives us a good idea. So let's kind of compare the overall kind of individual ones. So integer math, 129,000, we got 138, so that's good. Floating point math, we got 101,000, so higher there. Prime numbers quite a bit higher there. Exposed, so yeah, we're pretty much across the board higher. Now I am curious what our single thread is going to be. So the average single thread is 4,075. Ours is 4,210. So I guess I can't complain too much, even with the thermal throttle. You know, it held its own against the average. So that is something to keep in mind. That's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, so that's good there. And disk mark, yeah, looks good. So two things I want to look in here. The disk sequential reads is 6.7 gigabit a second, and disk sequential writes are 3.9 gigabit a second. So that's pretty good. That means, you know, this is you know, not the fastest drive in the world, but you know, it does show, you know, Gen 4 SSD. So again, while it's not really compared to like a 990 Pro or a, you know, Sabrent Rocket or a SN850X, you know, for an OEM drive, it's not bad. So, you know, overall results look pretty good, even through extended testing. Now, let's go ahead and kind of check out our temperatures here. So, I cleared this during the Passmark report, or the Passmark test, and again, we hit 100 degrees about instantly. You know, the package kind of dropped way down. We did clock all the way up to right at 5 gigahertz, 4.89. We hit 5 on some. So that's good on that. Memory-wise, you know, temperatures, we peaked at 58, so that's, you know, about average. SSD-wise, we did peak at 80 degrees, so that is another thing. That's pretty hot for an SSD, so yeah, that's interesting that actually got that hot during the disk benchmark. So the GPU hit 86 degrees Celsius, so I think the moral of the story is, for this machine, it is a toasty girl. You know, so I would definitely be considerate of, if you're going to put this thing in some kind of cabinet or, you know, maybe in some kind of drawer, it may not be the best idea. This thing definitely needs to have some decent airflow, because even with decent airflow, it gets pretty hot. But yeah, you know, overall, it's a pretty solid machine. Very snappy, as you can tell. I mean, we just kind of rip through Windows, very quick boot times. You know, just hold an Explorer here. I mean, it just kind of keeps up here, no problem. You know, it goes pretty quick. But again, you know, it's 64 gig RAM with an i9. So yeah, I think this wraps up the review for the Dell Precision 3260. You know, it's about the size of Mac Studio, so not that big, but it's still a little bit thicker than the Dell's micro form factor PCs. You know, again, it's still kind of an odd combination with the i9, 64 gig RAM, 2 terabyte SSD. You know, I'm not real sure why they offer these with the Intel i9. You know, because the Precision Workstation's really kind of tailored more towards engineers or you know, ML applications, you know, so they're meant to be kind of put under heavy use. The fact that this thing hits thermal throttle pretty quick is kind of odd. You know, I would be more curious what maybe like a i7K series would do, or maybe a little bit better cooling. But I was kind of surprised to see that the average Passmark rating for the CPU was, you know, above average. So that may be due to just being a brand new machine, clean machine, nothing running on it. But overall, I mean, it scored higher than the average, which is good, because immediately, I mean, it hit thermal throttle. So nice to see that it was still able to kind of hang in and compete in there. So yeah, you know, I have a full teardown video of this machine that I will attach at the bottom of the video. Very easy to work on, you know, toolless, pretty much everything is toolless to get into the machine. To get to the heatsink, it's just 2 little tabs on the CPU cooler, a couple screws to get everything out, you know, but to get to the memory, to get to the SSD, 5 minutes, you know, super easy, nothing you got to worry about breaking or cracking. So yeah, you know, overall, fairly solid machine. I think this one came in at about $3,500 if I recall right. I'll put the exact cost down at the bottom. But yeah, you know, would I buy one? Probably not. You know, you can get a similarly priced, you know, medium tower, mid tower build from Dell, or even a bigger Precision, you know, for about the same cost, maybe just a little bit more. But I would be very surprised if the the performance isn't quite a bit faster, even with the same hardware inside, just mainly because of the cooling and the better power delivery. So yeah, overall, if you need a small, super small form factor i9 with the ability to go up to a RTX A3000 GPU, this may be the machine for you. Let me know. I don't know. Kind of has some weird use cases. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this video. Let me know your thoughts on this machine. Let me know if you like it, if you hate it. I don't know. It's kind of an odd build here. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to like and subscribe. Really kind of helps me out. Really kind of trying to build this channel. Going to be doing a lot more home lab stuff soon, so keep that in mind if you want to swing back by and check out the other videos that are coming in.